Good day! Kindly follow me on my Facebook page and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you! In this video for Grade 8 Mathematics, pag-uusapan natin ang the modern axiomatic system. Sa nakaraang video, pinag-usapan natin ang undefined terms at defined terms. So dito naman, under din ng axiomatic system, pag-uusapan naman natin ang mga postulates at theorems. Pero bago yon, i-recall muna natin ang properties of equality. So, ang properties of equality ay hindi lamang ginagamit sa pagsosolve sa algebra, ito ay ginagamit din sa pagpuprove ng given postulates and theorems. So, i-recall natin ang bawat isang properties ng equality. Let A, B, and C be real numbers. First property is the reflexive property. For example, we have the given A equals A. So, it means any number is equal to itself. So, para lang nananalamin, kapag sinabing reflexive property, kung ano yung nasa left side, ganun din yung nasa right side. Next is the symmetric property. If A is equal to B, then B is equal to A. So, ito ay katulad lang ng commutative property. If the left and right members of an equation are interchanged, their values remain the same. So, kung ang value ng left side at ng right side ay magkapalit ng posisyon, tulad pa rin ang kanilang value. So, katulad dito, ang A at B ay nagkapalit or nag-interchanged, so ganun pa rin yung value ng bawat variable. Next is the transitive property. If A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then A is equal to C. If the left and right members of an equation are equal to the same quantity, then the two quantities are equal. So kapag sinabing transitive property, kung ang value ng A ay equal sa B, so ang value ng AB ay katulad din ng value ng BC or tulad sila ng sukat. Halimbawa, ang A is equal to C, halimbawa ito ay 10. So kung nahati siya sa dalawa, pareho silang 5. Next is the addition and subtraction property. If A is equal to B, then A plus C is equal to B plus C. The same number may be added to both sides of an equation and the sum remains equal. So, katulad dito, if A is equal to B, then A plus C is equal to B plus C. So, kung nag-add tayo ng C sa left side, mag-a-add din dapat tayo ng C sa right side since we are talking about the properties of equality. And then, if A is equal to B, then A minus C is equal to B minus C. The same number may be subtracted from both sides of an equation and the difference remains equal. So, kabaligtarin lang to ng addition. So, kung nag-minus ka dito sa A, kailangan magma-minus ka rin sa B. Ang panglimang property ay ang multiplication and division property. If A is equal to B, then A times C is equal to B times C. Both sides of an equation may be multiplied by the same non-zero number and the product remains the same. So kung nag-multiply ka dito ng non-zero number, kailangan mag-multiply ka rin sa right side. Again, non-zero number ang kailangan nating i-multiply sa both sides kasi kapag 0 ang minultiply natin sa dalawang sides ng equation, 0 na ang kanilang kalalabasan. If A is equal to B, then A divided by C is equal to B divided by C. So both sides of the equation may be divided by the same non-zero number and the quotient remains the same. So kung ang minultiply mo dito ay C, kailangan kung ang dinivide mo dito sa A ay C, kailangan magdi-divide ka rin ng C dito sa B. And the last property is the substitution property. For every real number x, y, and z, then x and y may be substituted for each other in any equation. So kapag sinabing substitution property, for example, may value yung x. So yung x na yun ay isa-substitute natin gamit yung kanyang value or respective value. So for example, if x is equal to 1, so dun sa ating equation, yung 1 ay isa-substitute natin sa variable x. So proceed na tayo, ano nga ba ang postulate? When we said postulate or axiom, it is a statement or rule that are accepted or considered to be true without proof or validation. So pag-usapan naman natin kung ano-ano yung mga postulates. Una, point existence postulate. Kapag sinabi natin point existence postulate, so for example, meron tayo ditong plane. At sa loob ng plane natin, meron tayong points A, B, C, and D. So kapag sinabing point existence postulate, meron siyang tatlong definition. First, space contains at least 4 non-coplanar points. So, masasabi nating point existence postulate kung ang mga spaces niya ay naglalaman ng at least 4 non-coplanar points. So, kapag sinabing non-coplanar points, iyon yung mga points na wala sa iisang plane. Next is, every plane contains at least 3 non-collinear points. So, ang bawat plane daw o ang kada isang plane ay naglalaman ng at least 3 non-collinear points or tatlong points na hindi nag-lie sa iisang line, katulad halimbawa ng points B, A, C. So, kung mapapansin nyo, hindi sila nag-form ng isang line. Kasi kapag line, isang diretso yon. So, since hindi sila nag-form ng isang line, sila ay under din ng point existence postulate. And the last definition is, every line contains at least 2 points. So, ang kada line daw ay nagko-contain ng at least 2 points. So, katulad nito, meron tayong 2 points sa line BD, meron tayong 2 points sa line DC, at 2 points din sa line CA. Kasi kapag isang point lang, hindi na siya matatawag na line since point A lamang ang meron sa given. Next postulate is the straight line postulate. So for example, meron tayong line XY. So 2 points are contained in one and only one line. So kapag sinabing straight line postulate, meron siyang o nagko-consist siya ng at least 2 points. Kasi ang line ay na-form gamit ang mga points. So kapag meron diyang 2 points, iyon po ay maglalay sa isang line. Next is the plane postulate. If 3 non-collinear points are contained in one and only one plane, 3 non-collinear points determine a plane. So for example, meron tayong plane DEF. So sabi dyan, if 3 non-collinear points are contained in one and only one plane, 3 non-collinear points determine a plane. So kung hindi daw magkaka-line o wala sa iisang line ang tatlong points, sila ay magpo-form ng plane. At iyon yung tinatawag nating plane postulate. Next is the flat plane postulate. If 2 points are in a plane, then the line containing the points is in the same plane, like this one. So kung ang 2 points daw ay nasa loob ng plane, therefore, ang line na nagko-contain ng mga points ay nasa isa ding plane o nasa loob din ng plane. So kung mapapansin nyo, meron tayong 2 points. Ang 2 points na ito ay nasa loob ng isang plane. Therefore, ang line na na-form gamit ang 2 points na ito ay nasa loob din ng plane. Next is the line intersection postulate. When we said line intersection postulate, if 2 lines intersect, then their intersection is a point, like this one. So, meron tayong 2 lines, line M at line N. Kung mapapansin nyo, nag-intersect sila. At kung saang part sila nag-intersect, iyon yung magpo-form ng isang point. Dahil ang mga line ay nagko-contain ng maraming points, so since nag-intersect ang line M at N, ibig sabihin nagtagpo sila sa iisang point at iyon yung tinatawag nating line intersection postulate. Okay, so the last postulate is the plane intersection postulate. So kung kanina sa line intersection postulate, kapag nag-intersect ang 2 lines, doon sila mag-i-intersect o magtatagpo sa isang point. Kapag naman sinabi nating plane intersection postulate, if two planes intersect, then their intersection is a line. Like this one. So, meron tayong dalawang planes, the plane R and the plane M. Kung mapapansin nyo, nag-intersect ang dalawang plane sa line AB. So, kapag nag-intersect ang dalawang plane, therefore, ang kanilang intersection ay line. So, proceed na tayo. What is theorem? Theorems are statements proved to be true using postulates, definitions, other established theorems, and logic. So, kung kanina sa postulates, isa pa lamang silang kung baga hindi pa aprobado. So, kapag naman sinabing theorem, ito ay aprobado na gamit ang mga postulates, ang mga meanings, or yung mga logic, or yung mga na-form na rin na theorems noon. So, simulan natin ang given theorems. First, given a line and a point not on the line, there is exactly one plane containing it. So, for example, meron tayong plane M. At sa plane M, merong isang point. At meron ding isang line, which is the line F. At yung line F na yon, meron dalawang points, which are the points E and point H. So, sabi dyan, given a line and a point on the line, there is exactly one plane containing it. So, segment F, so since ang line ay merong dalawang parts which are the ray and the segment, so meron tayong segment F, contains its endpoints E and H. At plane M, thus, if point G is on plane M, then E, H, and G are coplanar. So kapag sinabing coplanar, ang tatlong points ay nasa iisang plane. So kung mapapansin natin, ang points E, H, at G ay nasa loob ng iisang plane. And therefore, a line and a point determine a plane. Next theorem is every segment has exactly one midpoint. For every point corresponds a unique positive value, thus every segment corresponds a unique value of distance or length. So for example, meron tayo ditong given line or segment. So dito meron tayong segment simula sa 0 papunta sa 8. So, simula 0, 2 hanggang 4, 2 coordinates. So, meron din tayong segment 4, 2 hanggang 8, 2. So, kapag sinabing 8, 2, yung 8, iyon yung x coordinate and yung 2 naman, iyon yung y coordinate kung marerecall natin yung x and y axis. So, sabi dyan, every point corresponds a unique positive value. Thus, every segment corresponds a unique value of distance or length. So, as illustrated, given a segment with length 8, its midpoint, by definition of midpoint, is at 4 since 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4. So, kung hahatiin natin sa dalawa ang segment hanggang doon sa length na 8 or sa haba na 8, so 8 divided by 2 is 4. At malalaman natin yon using the definition of the midpoint. So, kapag sinabing midpoint, you will divide the given length by 2 para mahanap natin yung gitna niya or yung center. Okay, next, if two intersecting lines form one right angle, then they form four right angles. So, meron tayong given dalawang intersecting lines, which are the line AB, intersect to line GD at point H. So, nag-intersect sila sa point H. So, sabi dyan, kung ang dalawang intersecting lines daw ay nag-form ng isang right angle, therefore, magpo-form na rin siya ng apat na right angles. So, by vertical angle postulate and linear pair angles, if measure of angle GHB is equal to 90 degrees, then measure of angle AHG is also 90 degrees. Thus, measure of angle AHD is 90 degrees, and so with measure of angle BHD is also equal to 90 degrees. So, kapag ang dalawang lines ay nag-intersect at nag-form ng isang right angle, magpo-form na siya talaga ng apat na right angles. Okay, next, two lines perpendicular to the same plane or coplanar. So, gamitin ulit natin ang figure na ito. So, kapag daw ang dalawang lines ay perpendicular sa iisang plane, it is coplanar or the two lines are coplanar. So, kapag sinabing perpendicular, nag-form sila ng right angles katulad ng kanina or nag-form sila ng letter L or inverted letter L. Okay. So, as shown, AB or segment AB is perpendicular to segment DG through point existence postulate. Okay, so let us now have the examples. Given PQ is equal to RS, prove that PR is equal to QS. So dito, kapag magpo-prove tayo, kailangan may background knowledge na tayo tungkol sa mga postulates, theorems, or dun sa properties of equality na pinag-usapan natin kanina. So again, meron tayong given na PQ is equal to RS. Kailangan nating i-prove na ang PR ay equal sa QS gamit ang mga theorems, postulates, at ang properties of equality. So we have this given line, at sa line na ito or sa segment na ito, meron tayong apat na points P, Q, R, and S. So iyan yung gagamitin nating basehan sa pagsasagot ng ating statement and reason. Okay, so let's make the two columns. Isang column para sa statement at isa naman para sa reason. Kapag magsusulat kayo ng ganito or ng proving, kailangan yung unang row ay yung mismong given. So, isulat natin, PQ is equal to RS. And then, sa reason, isulat nyo dyan, given. Okay, so meron na tayong isang statement at isang reason. So, kailangan nating i-prove na ang PR ay equal sa QS, hindi lang sa pagtitig o pagtingin dito sa ating given line. Okay, so kailangan nating i-prove gamit ang mga theorems. So, second line or second statement, pwede nating isulat na QR is equal to QR. So, sabi dyan, QR is equal to QR. So, magkatulad ang value ng left side at ng right side. So, ito yung tinatawag nating reflexive property of equality. Okay, third statement, pwede nating isulat na PQ plus QR is equal to QR plus RS. So, tingnan natin yung ating line. So, sabi dyan, PQ plus QR is equal to QR plus RS. Okay, and then the definition or the reason will be addition property of equality. So, paano naging addition property of equality? So, doon sa segment PQ at sa segment RS, nag-add tayo ng segment QR sa both sides ng equation. So, may plus QR dito sa left at may plus QR din dito sa right. Next, PR is equal to PQ plus QR and QS is equal to QR plus RS. So, ang PR natin, ito yon. So, pwede dyan, PR is equal to PQ plus QR. Kasi kapag pinagsama natin yung haba ng PQ at ng QR, ang sagot ay yung segment PR. And then, sa QS naman, pinagsama yung segment ng QR plus RS. So, ano nga ba yung magiging reason natin? Pwede nating ilagay dyan yung ruler placement postulate or betweenness of points postulate. And the last, so ito na yung kailangan nating i-prove, PR is equal to QS. And then, yung reason natin is the transitive property of equality. So, paano naging transitive property of equality? Ang PR is equal to QS. PR is equal to QS. Kung mapapansin nyo, nag-intersect sila o nagkabanggaan sila dito sa segment QR. So, ibig sabihin, kaya siya naging transitive property of equality, kung ano yung meron sa PR, which is yung QR, ay ganun din, meron din ang QS, which is yung QR. Okay, so another example, vertical angles are congruent. Given angle AEC is equal to angle DEB, prove that angle CEB is equal to angle AED. So, meron tayong given vertical angles. So, sabi dyan, vertical angles are congruent. So, kapag sinabing vertical angles are congruent, kung anong measure nito, ganun din dito. Kung anong measure nito, iyon din yung measure ng side na ito. So, we have the given angle AEC is equal to angle DEB, kailangan nating i-prove na ang angle CEB ay katulad din ng sukat ng angle AED, which is ang definition ng vertical angles. Okay, so magkaroon ulit tayo ng statement and reason. Simulan natin sa given. So, angle AEC is equal to angle DEB, which is the given. And then, pwede nating isulat dito yung natutunan natin tungkol sa linear pair. So, we have the given angle AEC plus angle CEB is equal to 180 degrees. So, angle AEC plus angle CEB. So, nag-form siya ng linear pair, or kapag pinag-add natin ang measure ng dalawang ito, that is 180 degrees. Angle DEB, so ito yung DEB, and angle AED, so kapag pinag-plus natin ang value nila, equal din sila sa 180. And then, angle AEC plus angle DEB ay equal din sa 180 degrees. So, ito. And then, angle CEB plus angle AED, so ito yon, nag-form din sila ng 180 degrees. And the reason is the linear pair definition. So, ano nga ba yung linear pair definition? Kapag sinabing linear pair definition, kapag pinagsama yung dalawang angles, ang total dapat nila is 180 degrees. Another statement, para ma-prove natin yung ating given or yung hinahanap sa ating example, angle CEB is equal to angle CEB. So, magkatulad din. So, the reason is reflexive property of equality. And the next, angle AEC plus angle CEB is equal to 180 degrees. Angle CEB plus angle AED is equal to 180 degrees. So, kung mapapansin nyo, ulit lang siya dun sa pangalawang statement. Pero, kailangan magkaiba yung reason. So, bukod sa linear pair sila ay kabilang din or definition din ng supplementary angles. Kasi kapag sinabing supplementary angles, two angles or two or more angles, the sum must be 180 degrees or nag-form sila ng straight line. So, katulad dito, angle AEC plus angle CEB. So, nag-form sila ng straight line, therefore, ang kanilang kabuuang sukat ay 180 degrees, which is definition siya ng supplementary angles. Okay, so the last, kailangan nating i-prove, angle CEB is equal to angle AED. So, ano yung reason na ilalagay natin? Angle CEB is equal to angle AED. So, ito yon. So, sabi dyan, vertical angles are congruent. Kasi iyon yung given statement natin. So, the reason is transitive property of equality. So, paano naging transitive property of equality? So, naging transitive property of equality dahil nag-form sila sa nag-intersect sila sa iisang point, which is the point E. So, another example, supplements of congruent angles are congruent. Given angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary angles, angle 3 and angle 4 are also supplementary angles, and then meron pa tayong isang given, angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. So, kapag sinabing congruent, ang sukat ng dalawang angles ay magkatulad or equal. So, kailangan nating i-prove ng angle 1 ay congruent sa angle 4. So, let's have this statement and the reason. Kung mapapansin nyo, wala na tayong given figure. So, kailangan nating i-imagine ano yung itsura ng ating figure gamit yung mga statements na given. So, simulan natin sa unang statement, which is angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. Kung mapapansin nyo, nandun siya sa given. So, the reason will be the given. Or, pwede nyong isulat ang tatlong given. Pwedeng angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary angles, isusulat nyo dito, and then ang reason, given. Angle 3 and angle 4 are supplementary angles, and then nakalagay din dito is given. So, next statement, measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 is equal to 180 degrees, and measure of angle 3 plus measure of angle 4 is also equal to 180 degrees. So, saan ko nakuha yung statement na yan? Ito ay gamit din yung given. Kasi sabi dyan, ang angle 1 at angle 2 ay supplementary angles. So, balikan natin yung supplementary angles. Kapag sinabing supplementary angles, ang total ng angle o ang total na measure ng angle ay 180 degrees. So, kapag merong measure ang angle 1 at inad siya sa measure ng angle 2, ang total nila is 180 degrees dahil sabi sa given, ang 1 at 2 daw ay supplementary angles. So, ganun din sa measure of angle 3 and angle 4, kapag pinag-plus natin ang measure nilang dalawa, ang total nila is 180 degrees. So, the reason is supplementary angles. Okay, next is the measure of angle 2 is congruent to measure of angle 3. So, bukod sa given sila, ano pa nga ba ang pwede nating i-reason na kung saan ang measure daw ng angle 2 ay congruent sa measure of angle 3? So, since meron ditong symbol na congruent, therefore, ang reason natin is the definition of congruent angles. So, sabi dyan, kapag ang dalawang angles ay equal, therefore sila ay congruent. Another statement, measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 is equal to measure of angle 3 plus measure of angle 4. So, paano nga ba naging ganito yung statement? Kasi sabi sa given, ang 1 at 2 daw ay supplementary, therefore, ang total ng kanilang measure ay 180 degrees. Ang measure ng 3 at 4 ay supplementary din daw, therefore, meron din silang total na measure na 180 degrees. So, kung ang measure ng 1 at 2 ay may total na 180 degrees, therefore, equal siya doon naman sa total ng 3 at 4, wherein meron din silang total na 180 degrees. So, ang reason nila is the transitive property of equality. So, paano naging transitive property of equality? So, kapag sinabing transitive, kung ano yung measure ng kaliwa, ganun din sa kanan. Okay, so i-prove na natin na ang angle 1 ay congruent sa angle 4. Kailangan po kapag magpo-prove kayo, ang una ay palaging given, and then yung dulo, kailangan ma-prove na natin yung hinahanap sa example. So, ano yung magiging reason natin sa angle 1 is congruent to angle 4? So, pwede nating ilagay diyang reason is the definition of congruent angles. So, since gumamit ito ng symbol na congruence or congruent, therefore, pwede nating ilagay na reason is the definition of congruent angles. Okay, so i-summarize na natin ang natutunan natin tungkol sa postulates and theorems. So, i-recall natin again the properties of equality. First is the reflexive property, kung ano ang value ng left, gano'n din ang value ng right. Next is the symmetric property, parang commutative property, kapag binago ang posisyon ng dalawang value sa left at binago din ang posisyon ng dalawang value sa right, tulad lang ang kanilang measure. Next is the transitive property. Sinundan ng addition and subtraction property. Next is the multiplication and division property. And the last is the substitution property. And next is the axiom or postulate, wherein it is a statement or rule that are accepted or considered to be true without proof or validation. At kapag naman sinabing theorems, these are the statements proved to be true using the postulates, definitions, other established theorems, and logic. So, ano yung pagkakaiba ng postulate at theorems? Kapag sinabing postulate, isa tong statement na tinanggap na pero hindi pa valid yung proof or wala pang validation. Kapag naman sinabing theorems, valid na siya, naaprubahan na, gamit ang mga postulates, definitions, or logic. Sana ay nakatulong ang video na ito sa inyong lesson tungkol sa postulates and theorem. Thank you for watching. If you have questions or suggestions, feel free to comment below. Enjoy learning mathematics. God bless us all!